as it were, on their anything. Tax returns, is Romney a felon? And you know, the interesting thing is that out there where you live, nobody cares. Nobody cares about Romney and Bain Capital. Nobody cares, at least in terms of whether or not he was a felon. Nobody cares about the villain in the movie Batman being named Bane. Nobody cares about Romney's tax returns. Nobody cares what Obama cares about. In fact, this country is standing up in outrage over what Obama said. And by the you Democrats are trying to tell us that we took him out of context. They're doubling down on this now. Elizabeth Warren is back, doubling down on this whole notion that if you got a road in front of your business, that road and the people that built it are the reason you succeeded. You had nothing to do with it. She's back. They're doubling down on it. Hi, folks. How are you? Great to have you here. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, Limbaugh Institute, Advanced Conservative Studies. The people of this country have finally seen what I've been trying to say for 4 years. That, and I don't mean to make this about me. I don't have to try to make things about me. They're going to do that anyway. This is why I said I hope he fails. This is who he's always been. This is who Barack Obama is. And all this about how likable Obama is, what a great guy he is. He is snarky, he's sneering, he's angry when he made those statements in Roanoke, Virginia last Friday night. For some reason, the truth emerged. He was irritated, fed up, tired, not supposed to be here in the polls. It wasn't supposed to be this close. It's supposed to be way ahead, rocking on to a practically uncontested second. Romney was the guy they wanted. Romney was the opponent they wanted. Romney. Occupy Wall Street, run against Wall Street, Bain Capital. They wanted Romney. And now the CBS New York Times poll is out. Registered voters, not likely vote. This poll is amazing. You dig deep in the internals. Romney is ahead of Obama for the first time in the New York Times CBS poll. That's a detail, by the way, that the CBS article of the poll ignores completely. In fact, according to the New York Times, 45% say they would vote for Romney if the election were now. 43% say they would vote for Obama, which means that Romney's really up by 2. But the pollsters decided to throw in undecided leaners so they could cut Romney's lead by half down to 1%. And so and the guys over to Politico, Mike Allen, says, well, come on, it doesn't mean anything. Nobody's ahead and nobody's behind. This is all a margin of error. And so when the Republican launches ahead in the polls, then all of a sudden the polls don't matter. But you dig deep in some of the internals in this poll and you find some amazing stuff. You go back and you compare the results of this poll to the and they did this at Powerline. Compare this poll to the same poll's results in April to get a trend. Handling of the economy. Back in April, Obama at 44%. Today's poll, 39%. Impact of policies on respondents' own financial situation. Not good for Obama. Not going to give too many numbers. Just you lose the ability. Well, 64% blame Obama's policy. Folks, it's all in this poll. And this is registered voters, not likely. If it were likely voters, it'd be even worse. 64% blame Obama's policies or where. Finally, folks, you've been asking, when are these polls going to match up? When are all these polls that say we're going in the wrong direction? My life isn't getting better. When are they going to match up with an accompanying decline in Obama's approval? Looks like it's happening in this poll. Favorability rating, Obama 36. You remember when Bush hit the 30s on CNN? It was all they talked about for 3 straight hours. We had that montage of Wolf Blitzer, breaking news, everything coming to a screeching halt. The president's approval numbers, a new low in the CNN poll in the 30s. Well, here we go, the CBS New York Times poll, Obama Back in April, he was at 42% approval, 45% disapproval. Well, favorable and unfavorable. 36% favorable in the New York Times CBS poll. A plurality of voters think Obama's policies will make them worse off and that Romney's will make them better off. It's all here in this poll, and there's a couple of other interesting aspects here. The independents. The independents, among independents, Obama's personal favorability is at 28%, not 36%. Now, this is the group that the Republican establishment says, don't criticize Obama. No. The independents, they want to compromise, shake hands. Everybody get together across the aisle, work together, compromise, blah, blah, blah. Among the independents, Obama's personal favorability, 28%, 52% unfavorable. This among independents. Romney, 32% favorable, 31% unfavorable. So I guess this Bain stuff's really working, didn't it? I guess this tax return stuff's really working, isn't it? And I guess this, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. I guess this stuff is really working. And by the way, this poll, ladies and gentlemen, has weighted the Democrats with a 6.5-point sample advantage. What they've done, and this is another indicator, what they did in the composition of the respondents in the poll, they basically went out and they duplicated election returns. They had a Democrat sample of about 52%, 53% in the poll, and a Republican sample, independent sample, that pretty much equaled what the election in 2008. Well, we all know that those numbers no longer work because a lot of Democrats have abandoned Obama. He's not going to get 53% even if he wins. He's not going to get 53%. And they have, so this, weighting Obama by 6.5 points, Democrat over Republican in the CBS New York Times poll. Even doing that, Obama's losing by 2 points. Even with a 6.5-point respondent Democrat advantage, Obama is down 2. Now, the media, they're going to look at this, and you're probably going to hear this. I think the standard reply is going to be what the politicos do. Well, it's margin of error. And this race has always been close. It's always going to be close. Every poll is going to be like this for the remainder of the race. There's nobody ahead and there's nobody losing. So when Romney vaunts ahead, all of a sudden the polls do not matter. And now the Democrats doing everything they can to distract. But see, as I said, the people, they don't care about Romney's tax returns. They don't. In fact, I can't remember where I saw this, but this is a great idea for Romney to do. If Obama or somebody starts ripping into it for having money in the Grand Caymans and elsewhere offshore, Romney said, yep, and if you win, I'm taking even more money out of the country and putting it offshore. And anybody who had the ability to would be wise to do the same thing. Be aggressive. Go on offense with it. You don't have to make excuses for anything. Romney is on fire. I think Romney now, even Jeb Bush has come out and criticized Obama. Do you realize how major a thing that is? Even Jeb Bush doesn't like this business at all. Yeah, he doesn't like this idea that Obama's out there saying people didn't build their own businesses. And as I say, they're doubling down on this with Elizabeth Warren now. She's doubled down on it. All this talk about being taken out of context, not true. This is who he is, folks. It's what I and you have been trying to tell everybody for 4 years. I had an interesting email from a cousin. My cousin Andy lives in St. Louis. He said, I got a tweet, Rush. One of my friends said, you need to redo your Economics 101 lecture on a zero-sum game and how this economy is not one. It's not a zero-sum game. He said that Rush lecture is what turned me and helped me to understand the economy. And his point is that the only reason this class envy stuff works is because the people that don't understand the economy think it's a finite number. And the rich are grabbing up more and more and more of it. And as the rich get more and more, everybody else gets less and less. And of course, that's true if you're talking about a zero-sum game. But we have a finite, or we do not have a finite economy. That's what growth is all about. How can you have economic growth if the pie never gets bigger? But a lot of people do not instinctively understand. They think that there's only so much money, there's only so many businesses, there's only so many customers, there's only so many products, and if they don't get in on it early on, they're going to never get in on it. The zero-sum game. So it might take some time and revisit that. We're going to do Open Line Friday on Thursday today, folks.